Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. I had to think about it for a second. But it is Thursday. It's Thursday, June the 4th, 2020. The longest decade of anyone's life even. Possibly forever. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. We got another great show lined up for you today. Not to say that you should be looking away from the events of the world right now, but maybe you just need a brief reprieve before going back to it. And hopefully we can provide a little bit of that here today. Despite a bit of a drought in news, don't put it past us. We're capable of dragging this bad boy out into a full-length podcast. Mr. Maximus Black. I can't speak English today. Mr. Maximus Black.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Doing all right. Same old same. Got purple hair, so that happened.
I saw that. Looking very good. You got that little bit of Joe Exotic going on upstairs today.
Got a little Joe Exotic going, so we got that going for us. Same old shit, man. Another week has gone by. We're in June already. Next thing you know it, we're going to be saying, where did summer go? And
hey, maybe if we're lucky, but for better reasons, it'll be like March, where it felt like 6 months crammed into 1 month. But hopefully for a better a good reason. March was obviously not the greatest reason as to why it felt so long, but if we could maybe, drag this one out, I wouldn't be against it. We've got some beautiful weather here today. Holy shit.
It's nice. I know.
We're getting July weather in the end of May, early June, which is really weird. But I'm not going to complain. I'm actually just not going to complain.
Yeah, it's supposed to be sunny for I think it's supposed to rain on Saturday, but then it's like sun for another 5 days.
Yes. I guess the concern then becomes fire. Which we've already had some.
I'll take some fire. You know what I mean? I'll take
we
some
can't
fire.
afford fire right now.
You know what? Hey, I just want some nice weather. We need something.
That's true. Something to keep us going. We didn't have anything. We didn't even talk ahead of time about this. But obviously, if from us here, because we would share the same sentiments, I'm sure. God fucking speed to everyone in the U.S. right now who has been doing whatever they can personally manage in regards to fighting through what feels like an incredibly a directional shift in the U.S. If you I guess what it feels like. We've had some minor protesting in comparison to this in recent years over similar subjects, but this is on a different level, and it feels like maybe if the momentum keeps going, things will change. But it's ugly as fuck out there, unnecessarily ugly as fuck out there. And if you are going to be participating in any of the protesting, then fucking be safe and know what you're up against, because you're gonna get shot. Shot for saying this. Obviously, not all cops, because there are some that are walking with the protesters. But you know what I mean when I say there are a lot of cops that aren't gonna fuck your shit up if you're out there. But there are arguably as many or more right now who are looking for a reason, and so take that carefully. But fight the good fight. What a crazy fucking couple of weeks. Do we have anything to say? I hadn't even thought about this before going to this podcast, but
no, because I try and not talk about this stuff because we hear it everywhere. So there's not much more you could rant about it for hours.
Oh, I'm not talking about ranting. I'm just I'm not talking about getting into the specifics of it, but just
I think you just nailed it.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Yeah.
Know what you're up against, and Godspeed. That's pretty much it. We hear about it everywhere. I don't mention any of this shit on stream because people are trying to find an escape from the madness, and if they want to hear about it, you can literally go anywhere on social media or anybody's house right now and have a conversation. Doesn't mean I'm not trying to have a conversation. It's just at this point, you know, there's nothing for me to add. It is what it is.
I want to give a shout out to John Boyega, who is literally in the middle of it all right now. Lots of celebrities and stuff going out and putting their piece on social media, but that dude said, "Fuck it, I'm actually just gonna go out there and do it myself." And so that was particularly impressive to see. But yeah, regardless, fucking bonkers out there.
It's a shit show.
Be fucking safe. Fight for what you believe in, but be safe as you can possibly be in doing so.
Yeah. And don't fucking loot. Don't be an asshole.
That's the only thing is
don't loot and take this because you're not sending the right message, and that's what they want you to do. They want you to fuck up so they can undermine it all.
Yeah.
And people want to fuck up this. You fuck this up under a Black Lives Matter movement. It's going to be another reason for people to put Trump back in office in, come November. Yeah. So, be fucking smart. Be smart.
You have to direct your anger in the right places.
Yeah. Fight back with your voting. Fight back, with your voice. Don't be fucking burning shit down because you're literally that's not what you do. It's not.
I think what you said there too, in a tweet that I made the other day. The most important thing I think, because a lot of the people out there are young people, right? They're the ones fired up as fuck. That's incredible. And the most important thing that I could say above all, and this doesn't just go for the States. It's the same in Canada because we have the same problem here.
Straight across the board.
Straight across the board is. Take this energy into voting season and actually go vote. Don't succumb to voter apathy, because obviously situations like this make you feel like voting apathy is going to be even more of a thing where people feel it doesn't matter who they vote for, this shit's going to continue. But carry that in and actually vote, because the turnout in Canada as well for young people is fucking awful.
Yeah.
And so it's great to be able to get out there and do this stuff and really start inciting change, but do that at the polls as well. Carry that energy forward, for God's sake. But let's talk about some video games, Jeff.
Let's do that.
Because my week was basically just the website, same shit, different week. Just getting everything going. It's just the way that nothing exciting. Just staying in and doing that. Oh, I got my next review. We're 2 whole reviews deep.
I watched
Ion Fury.
Ion Fury. I watched the review. It was good.
Dude, that game is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I watched that. I was actually I didn't really watch. I listened to it. I was driving. I was driving from the rental and saw your tweet, and I'm like, all right, I'll listen to it. I listened to the audio. It's good.
Yeah, it's if you've not seen video of the game, it's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, I watched you play it on stream a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that if you were like a fan back in the day of like Duke 3D and Daikatana and like all the games that happened in the build engine, or very Doomy type games, they really took that engine and just fucking milked it for all it's fucking worth. And yeah, fire, and soundtrack is fire too, for sure. So definitely go check that out. Let's talk about some gaming news. We don't have a lot, but we have relatively meaty stuff that we can talk about anyway. We'll make it work.
All right.
First thing up on the list, and you can click on that link to take a peek at it. I've already looked at it, is the Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan is almost complete. A lot of people are, no, oh shit, I forgot to mention that. I will mention that really quick, because fucking... a lot of salty fanboys on N4G apparently. This is the only thing I can come up with. Flagged my site, and so I can't post anything on N4G right now. My account is fine.
Why would they flag your site?
Like so that you can't submit. People can't submit content from my site there anymore. So like when the Final Fantasy VII remake review went up, and there was so much salt, including some of the contributors that have the ability to vote your content onto the site, they obviously reported, like you can mass report, like on Twitch, for example, and then the back end just shuts down whatever the fuck. So I sent in a ticket the other day, and I was like, hey, I didn't break any of your TOS. I actually read your TOS super thoroughly because we were submitting our own content. It wasn't somebody else. And I wanted to make sure, and there's a whole section on webmasters submitting their own content. It's not a blog. It's like a full-blown fucking website with years worth of content provided on it. It's got more effort put into it than most fucking regular gaming websites because you're getting a video, audio, and fucking written review portion for it. And yeah, it got fucking flagged. So I was like, what the fuck?
The haters trying to take you down.
Trying to take it down, yeah. Clickbait. 2 out of 5. Anyway, Super Nintendo World, Universal Studios Japan, almost done. You can see some pictures in a tweet there. If you look it up, you'll be able to find it easy enough. I'm sure Google Foo has your back. A lot of people were saying how it looks so small, and they were like, "Oh, this is disappointing." And you forget that this is just it's like a part within Universal Studios. It's not like they're building an entire theme park based on Nintendo or some shit. Like, that's not what the idea was. They were just making like a segment. It's like, you go to a theme park and they're broken up into all sorts of themes because it's called a theme park. Well, the Super Nintendo theme in this area, you don't see, I didn't see any like pictures up close, but the aerial views, some of the stuff, it looked pretty dope, honestly. It stood out like a sore thumb because it was so brightly fucking colored. It was like a neon light pointed into the fucking sky. But yeah, it looked pretty dope, and I bet you it'd be kind of a cool place to go to at some point. Of course, it's in Japan, so I'm not going to be there. But we do have some Japanese community members.
Place,
yeah,
I do want to see Japan at some point in my life. So
why not stop in at Super Nintendo World?
Exactly.
There you have it. There was going to be originally a PlayStation 5 event today. Coincidentally, in 30 minutes from now, right in the middle of our podcast, where they were going to be releasing a whole whack of PlayStation 5 stuff in a PlayStation event. They stopped that for today for obvious reasons. There were other things for people to be concerned about than watching this big reveal, and they wanted to give that some breathing space. Lots of companies doing the same thing. That's the PlayStation's not the only one doing that. I think it's definitely the right move for them without question. So that will come up. I don't know yet if they've given a replacement date for when they're going to do it, but when it happens, you can rest assured it will probably be a Thursday right in the middle of this podcast, and we'll be fucked and either have to watch it live or wait for the next week. That's very much.
There we go.
Because
Perfect.
For some reason in the last year, everyone decided to make every event live and on a Thursday right in the middle of our podcast. It's like without fail. Every single one of them. We picked a great time, apparently.
Hey. It is what it is.
Prime time slot in the week. In relation to that, yeah, so one of the other ones, because we've talked about it in the podcast as well, the IGN Summer of Games also got pushed back. They're pushing that whole event back because, again, people have more important things to worry about right now, and that event is going to be just as fine if they push it back a little bit, and so that's what they are doing. Next up, Jeff, it's your favorite topic. And it got submitted in, and it's everyone else. There's like I would say probably 5 or 6 people now in the comment section that whenever we talk about Star Citizen, and by talk about I mean shit on Star Citizen, they're like, we get it, guys. You don't like Star Citizen. Well, guess what? I will take every opportunity I can to shit on this game until it comes out. And damn it, they've given us more to talk about, and so we're going to talk about it.
What now?
All right, so just in May alone, if you click on that link I sent you, and then you on down bottom it says crowdfunding timeline. If you change that to month,
oh,
look at that fucking spike.
Whoa, how the hell did they make so much in 1 month?
All right, so they went from They've
been averaging $5 million a month for the last 4 months.
Yes,
and they just tripled. They went over $15 million in May.
Yeah. Over $15 million fucking dollars in May alone. Why? It's no small feat that they were averaging $5 million a month before.
Yeah, I know. And how many years deep are we right now? They're still pulling in a cool $5 million a month. Just, it is what it is.
$5 million a month.
On average, dude, it gets up more than that. I mean, in December they did 11 million.
1 sec,
That's a
guys.
lot of money.
Yeah, keep talking. I'm just turning you.
That's
turning
a
you
whole
up
lot
one
of that's a whole lot of money. Well, hey, you know what? At this point, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or in this case, if it ain't ready, don't make
ship
it ready. No, don't ship it ever.
It'll make more money never being shipped than it will once it goes live.
Yeah, this is actually not one of them. This is actually the biggest. I don't want to use the word scam because
it's not an outright scam, but you know what it is?
Scam.
It's an abuse of their situation for sure.
Yeah. It's very blatant what they're doing. Very blatant. I mean, there's really no disputing it. It is factual what they're doing. It's genius. And you know what? They're selling people on a pipe dream. And at this point, people are it's becoming a religion, man. They're so worked up and in this that these guys can be. You know what we finished yesterday? 90 Day Fiance.
Oh shit! Oh really? We're about 30 minutes left on the most recent episode that we haven't gotten through yet.
So we finished that. So this reminds me a lot of 90 Day Fiance. All right.
Okay.
And people that are diehard about this game and think it's coming out and have been pumping money into it and everything else is basically the dude or the dudette. It's typically the guy, the desperate guy from America that is on these dating websites trying to find the love of his life. And the love of his life, he thinks, is Star Citizen. The reality is Star Citizen is there to milk all the money they want. They want the green card. They want to make it they want to be put out of the little tiny cave where there's just a few employees and they have a pipe dream and everything. They're here to suck the money out of you. And what do? Every time you're about to give up and say, you know what? Maybe you are fucking me. Maybe I am better than this. They give you a little something. Maybe a little nude picture. Maybe I love you. Maybe I can't wait to see you.
Maybe a stock photo of some dude standing in the park ripped as fuck who's a restaurant manager.
Exactly. Name Williams. All right. And that is Star Citizen. Star Citizen is the 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. And everybody right now is just high on the fact of possibility. They have visualized what it's going to be like to spend the rest of their lives with this person. And in this case, with the greatest sci-fi video game open world ever to be created. And you know what? I've got a theory, Adam.
Okay, what's your theory?
I've got a theory.
Hit me.
Perhaps it has gone up 3 times its normal amount because the world is going to shit. And people go, you know what? I want to escape. I want this to be my new reality. And I'm willing to pump and support this and play this and get behind this so that I can get away from the noise.
So what you're telling me
escape.
Is that not only is Star Citizen the 90-day fiancé before the 90 days of video games, but it's also the televangelist of video games.
Yes.
Where when you hit rock bottom and all of a sudden there's a, for whatever reason, obese white dude with the same haircut that everyone else has, with a blonde, blue-haired Southern Belle wife standing in a suit on TV in 4x3 on some random channel. And it's got call now to receive your free cloth that's been dipped in holy water. To heal your woes. We know that you've hit rock bottom. I've got a note for you, but it's going to cost you the low payment of $15.99.
Get your Trump bucks ready.
You sign up now. Maybe you got multiple relatives that need to get healed. We've got a healing cloth for all of them. You got a particularly large. We got different sizes of healing cloths, but in this case, we got different size ships, and they cost different amounts of money. And by God, if you want a package deal of all of our healing cloths, it'll cost you $15,000 US.
Let me go grab my Trump bucks. It's crazy. Congratulations, Star Citizen.
Chris Roberts, the next faith healer of video games. $15 million.
Yep.
In 1 month. After being this deep into the game. And to put that into context, that is roughly almost $5 million more. I'd say $4 million more than they got in December, in Christmas time. They made more money in May than they made in Christmas season.
Ho, ho, ho.
Before everyone was broke as fuck. With no job.
Trump bucks are out.
It's true.
You know? People are sitting at home. They want something to do.
Damn.
Star Citizen.
Damn.
Congrats.
What a meme. Well, there you have it. Keep the dreams going. I'm waiting for June. Show me June.
It's going to be thick.
If 15 mil becomes like their new average, that's what I want to see. Just so much money, Jeff. Next up. All right, now that we've had our time to talk about Star Citizen, I always love talking about Star Citizen. It's fucking hilarious to me. Ubisoft. This is equally as hilarious to me, honestly. Ubisoft is trying to convince everyone that their Trackmania subscriptions, this is a new Trackmania game that's come out. If you don't know what Trackmania is, it's a like a racing game of sorts that mostly user-generated content using their track editor, and it gets fucking bonkers, some of the tracks that they make. Very popular game. People have been playing for a long time. New version of that's coming up. Ubisoft is at the helm of this, and they're trying to convince people that the subscription that they have for this game isn't actually a subscription. All right, so I'm going to lay this out for everyone. You guys let me know whether or not this sounds like a subscription to you. It's a live service that includes free-to-play. Then, there are 2 tiers above free-to-play.
Okay.
For free-to-play, you can, of course, play the game and go about your business, etc., etc. But, if you want access to the track editor, now you're paying a seemingly arbitrary $10 a year.
Okay, that's not much.
It's not much, but it's so little that per year that you just go, but why? Then, for $30 a year, then you get access to the clubs and like tournament kind of stuff and like the other higher, tier access, whatever they're packaging in. And that's it. So you're paying yearly. You're not paying a lot yearly. For maxing it out, you're paying $40 a year for Trackmania. But here's the deal. Ubisoft said, Trackmania is not subscription-based. You just pay for it multiple times.
Sounds like a subscription to me.
I mean, by definition.
Yeah, that is a subscription, actually. By definition.
It's not a subscription. You just pay for it multiple times.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Ubisoft, for that incredible reimagining of the term subscription. So yeah, it's not like it's a lot of money. I just thought it was hilarious that they're trying to say that they're clearly subscription. It's not a subscription.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're paying it for the year. The only thing is they're not taking it monthly. They're just doing a year.
They've just extended the period.
It's like if Netflix goes, hey, instead of us charging you monthly, we're just going to do one lump sum. Kind of like what Disney Plus did. Hey, you can do it monthly, or you can just buy the subscription for the full year, and then
discount.
You get a discount. So that's
still a subscription.
I still have a Disney Plus subscription. I just paid for it a year up front. And then in a year, it's going to cancel. Kind of like after a year, this will cancel. And then if you want to do it again, you have to buy the subscription. You have to subscribe to it. This is fucking crazy, dude.
like
Yikes.
I would love to hear them try to explain what they really mean by that, but I feel like they wouldn't be able to explain it any better than they did.
The only way that that's not a subscription is if you pay the $10 or the $30 and you're done. So it's like a
Yes.
DLC. You buy that, it's over. The moment you're saying per year, it's a subscription. You're subscribing to that content.
If
You
the
don't own it indefinitely.
like unless there was like version 1 of Track Editor and you pay for it, and then the next year comes around, they've got Track Editor 2.0,
Yeah,
and you still have access to 1.0.
exactly.
Now it's not a
That's
subscription.
DLC. Yeah.
Now it's DLC. But that's not what they're pawning here.
No.
That's you want access to the editor, you're going to pay $10 a year for that editor, and that's the show. So, yeah, that's called a subscription. Thank you, Ubisoft, for your continued stupidity. Bless your heart, and good
Yikes.
luck with Vikings, the TV show, the video game. EA. Oh, right. Okay. So EA's Motive Studio in Montreal. So Motive was or is for, I guess, it's a new sub studio within EA. And they were mostly a support studio that worked on various games. Probably their most prominent was them doing the campaign segments of Battlefront 2. They were the ones in charge of doing the campaign stuff. Not the multiplayer stuff, but the actual campaign stuff that was there, which most people actually said was quite good. I haven't personally played it, but I haven't heard anything particularly bad about that. They are apparently in charge now of a full standalone game. That EA has put in their charge.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Star Wars game. So it's a completely new Star Wars game underneath them, and it has a code name. Maverick is the name, the code name that the game's been given. Not the name of the game, obviously, but what the code name for the project is. The only things we have to go off of right now is the code name, of course, and that there are there's one teaser image for it or something like that. So the style of the teaser image, I don't have the link there, unfortunately. I'm sure you could find it if you wanted to see it, but the teaser image makes it look like the era in which the game is happening is like original trilogy era, based on like the visuals, the font, that kind of, like, it looks almost Empire Strikes Back-y type deal. And then the name Maverick, I mean, the only other than the definition of the word, the one thing that I could think of would be, you think Top Gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you think Maverick, and especially the next Top Gun movie is coming, so it's something some people might be able to draw a connection to, and so I thought maybe in a far-flung fucking idea that this could be a game that focuses more on X-Wing TIE Fighter fighting than previous games, because there hasn't been a lot of that in a while. And I mean, you go back to the game X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which is one of people's favorite Star Wars games, because it was dope.
Yeah.
Maybe I doubt we'd get into a pure flight-based game, but I'm guessing that it could very well be something that includes more of that, where that's a more of a main component to the game. And maybe it is like an X-Wing TIE Fighter type game, which I wouldn't be against either, because we've had a lot of Star Wars games that are just all ground, and that's the show, with scant space battles. I think Battlefront 2 does have some stuff, but it's not like it's the core idea.
I mean, your character might even be an X-wing fighter, like an X-wing. It could
Pilot.
be following like a Poe Dameron or whatever.
Yeah,
and you're like that type of character, and that sort of
exactly. Like, what if it was a single player, mostly? Well, I'm sure it's gonna have multiplayer because it's EA, but like a single player campaign that's following a rookie fighter that's caught up in the midst of the original trilogy, and you're part of that. I'd be down for that shit. That's a nice little that's kind of a fresh-ish take on it. I'd be there for it. So yeah, there you go. I suspect we'll learn more coming up. The reason why we'll probably learn more soon is that Maverick Studios just signed up for all of their social media shit. So their Twitter account was created.
There you go.
And all that stuff. So we're probably going to get some more information for that in the not too distant future. What do we got next? Oh, in news that makes you realize just how much of an asshole big companies can be, Take-Two made some particularly aggressive corporate plays here in the, over the last several months in regards to Kerbal Space Program 2. You've probably heard of Kerbal Space Program, the first game. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So the second one was in development underneath Take-Two by a company called Star Theory Games. Small developer, just a not a very big developer doing this contract, and it was their one major contract that they had. That was like into last year sometime, late last year, and out of the blue, Take-Two sends an email through LinkedIn to a bunch of Star Theory's employees. It's the same email pretty much to everyone, and the email basically stated, well, they said this is a quote actually from it, a partial quote where it says, and there's no real context that before where this is going to sound weird. This is in regards to canceling the contract for the game. So they just out of the blue said, you don't have this contract anymore. It said it became necessary when we felt business circumstances might compromise the development, execution, and integrity of the game. And that was as detailed as they got behind their reasoning. Just some kind of vague, open-ended business speak. And so they pulled the contract. And for a company the size of Star Theory and many developers, honestly, that aren't mega developers, when you get a contract pulled like that mid-go, that's a massive financial hit for the company. And so they struggled through it. They managed to keep their head above water. But the interesting thing is that as soon as they did that and they sent that email, at the bottom of the email, they said they were encouraging the employees to sign up for a job at Take-Two. And Take-Two created another branch underneath them, like a dev underneath of them, I can't remember the name of them now, that was taking over the game development for Kerbal Space Program 2. And then they were poaching employees from Star Theory that they just pulled the contract from to feed this new developer under their own brand as it was at the same time. And so there were a bunch of like employees internally going, I don't know what to do here because my job security at Star Theory has basically been almost destroyed. You know, the heads of Star Theory are doing their best to get the money together to keep this thing going and grab another project for the company to continue on. Intercept, that's it. And so they, so some of them left, and they successfully poached a not insignificant number of employees from Star Theory. And then Star Theory kept going. They survived that financial hit, secured another project that they started working on, but then COVID hit, and all of the trade shows that they were going to be showing the game off at for selling to publishers obviously went away.
Yep.
And so they couldn't sell it to anyone. So they had to literally shut the company down. They paid the remaining employees 2 months worth of insurance for health insurance, I think 1 month of salary, something in that neighborhood, which is what they could afford to do. And then the company had to shut down. So basically Take-Two outright decides, you know what? We could probably, if we just do this cheaper, we just did it in-house. So pull that contract, fuck that company, poach the employees, and walk away as if nothing happened and just make the game.
Yikes, dog.
That's a dick move, bro. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one thing to pull the contract for whatever reason. It's another one to then put at the bottom of the email, hey, you're probably fucked for work. You've been working on this game anyway. Why don't you just continue to work on it under us?
That's fucked up.
Yeah. That's super fucked. My guess is they might have been in some trouble from the Rona, from the space AIDS.
Oh, this was pulled way before space AIDS was a thing. This was like back in like September, October, November, like back then.
My theory is gone. They're just greedy cocksuckers then, by the sounds of it.
That's it.
It just fucked over a lot of people. Why would you give the They must have had a good reason to back out of the contract, though.
The reason was money.
Yeah, but I mean, you would think that there's a clause in the contract where they just can't back out. So maybe there was some sort of thing that a loophole that they found that they didn't agree with, and then they had the ability to leave. Because when you sign a contract like that, you can't just come in and say, "Hey, we're gone," because they could pull it, but they're still going to have to pay for that contract work if they agreed to it, unless the other side had done something.
Well, they would have paid the contract work for up to like where they were.
Yeah,
right.
But they would still have to finish paying for the like. If you have a contract with the company, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm contracting you out to do this work," then you are. It's no different than building a building. And you have a contractor, you have a builder. The builder goes, "Okay, listen, I'm going to go to different contractors, and I'm going to see there's going to be a bid, and whoever bids is going to get the contract." So there's a bidding that happens. You agree that, hey, you're going to finish this work. Typically, money is dispersed in increments, in chunks, as work is being done. So you do the framing. Here's the money for the framing. An inspector goes in, inspects the work. They get a check mark off that. Okay, now it's time to do the windows or whatever. Okay, here's the money for all the windows. They go up. The inspector goes. They look at it. Okay, now we're going to do the plumbing, the electrical, whatever. It would be the same thing here, but within that big deal, that contract deal, there'll be clauses that'll say, "Hey, if this type of work is not being done at a specific level, or it fails to meet safety, or in this case, it might be fail to meet the quality standard, or if a company says something outlandish or does something within the company, and it's tied to the person that is giving out the contract that could give them a bad name, then we can walk away from the contract if we feel as though there is a breach of contract." What I'm trying to say is, in their line here, it says, "It became necessary when we felt business circumstances might compromise the development, execution, and integrity of the game." So there might have been a clause within the contract that if the person under this Take-Two, whether it's management, whether it is the owner, the company itself, maybe there was something behind the scenes that was happening. Maybe, who knows? But there would be a clause that they could cut sever ties.
Yeah, there's
and
always.
Say, "Listen,
Take-Two is one of the biggest publishers on earth, right? Take-Two is Grand Theft Auto and all that shit, right?
Yes,
so
it's a big one.
So the way that I would see it, another part of the story here, and the chat is right, is that at one point the studio was trying to sell. The owners of the studio were trying to sell the studio to Take-Two, I believe. They didn't like the terms of the sell, and so they didn't take it, and then this precipitated from that. So Take-Two then looked at it and said, "All right, they're not going to let us buy them for this. So how can we still?" Because obviously Take-Two wanted creative control. The only way for them to get creative control, because the contract is to buy out the company. Mm-hmm. They provide the company goes to them, Take-Two, and says, "This is what we want for the buyout." Take-Two says, I don't really like that." Nobody moves on it, and so Take-Two is now legally bound with that contract to keep going, like you were saying. So how do we do that? Well, there's always loopholes in contracts, especially if it's written by somebody with a dick the size of Take-Two. And one of those, just like when wrongful firing of an employee, an employer can come up with any fucking the language like that, and that's what I meant by the fucking business speak. The language here is so fucking broad and vague. There's no specificity that they can just say that, and as long as that language matches whatever the fuck is in the contract,
then they're good.
Then they're good to go, and then
they can break contract because theoretically the other side broke contract. So I don't know if this other company, which one is it? The Star Theory?
Star Theory is the company, yeah.
I don't know if Star Theory did something to Take-Two, or there's heads butting and they didn't like the way the direction and they felt as though, hey, this is going to hurt. We're going to lose money or what? I don't know. But the dirty part is at the bottom. That's the dirty part. So even if there was something that they had that they felt they break the contract and end it with Star Theory, to then put at the bottom that, hey, come work for us. And probably what they're thinking is, hey, well, they're already working on the game. They're already familiar with the game. They're going to need a job, and we could look like the good guys as well by providing them work.
Yep.
Let's just go ahead and poach them. And I guarantee you a bunch of them probably went over and was like, yeah, I will absolutely do that. Not only that, you're now moving over to Take-Two. So you're leaving a small development company to go over to the big boys. So that's also appealing in a lot of ways to a lot of employees, right? I mean, to some it might not be, because you're just part of a fucking, you're a number now.
If you talk to people in the video game industry, most people that are in that position, they're all going to tell you that they're just a cog in a fucking wheel. Doesn't matter who they're working for. You're a cog in a wheel. The people that tend to want to that really step away from big companies are people like the owners of Star Theory, who want to be able to have control over their property and not have to constantly bow down to whatever the bigger publisher is telling them to do, because it normally results in a game that is not representative of what their original vision was for the game. But yeah, it's a mess for sure. Dirty. And dirty. And if there was ever to be, it would be super. I don't know the legality of it enough, but the fact that they have that in the same message that they were telling them about the contract being pulled tells you that, if anything, they only had a problem with upper management at Theory and not the people that they were, because they're trying to poach the employees of the company that they're now pulling the game away from. So they couldn't have had a problem with how the game was really turning out. Yeah. Because then they wouldn't be poaching fucking employees. So it really goes to show that it seems like the majority reason for why it happened was because they didn't like the fact that they couldn't give Star Theory a deal that they would sell themselves to them for. And so this was their solution to not being able to buy them outright as it was. This was their workaround. Well, you don't want to? Well, we're going to find a nice little loophole here. We're going to pull this contract. We're going to start up a nice little subsidiary inside of Take-Two. We're going to then say to your employees, who are now probably looking for a job because you guys don't have any money left, hey, you want to come over here and continue working on the game that you've already been working on? We can do that.
Hey, do you want to eat?
You're not going to be making as much money as you were at Star Theory, but we'll pay you. It's dirty work, to say the least. Anyway, there you go. Let's see. Where am I stuck in this mess of notes? Right. Oh, Sega. Sega announces the Game Gear Micro. This is apparently, as of when I put this list together, it was only in Japan. But the Game Gear Micro. Now, they're not fucking around when they say micro. It will come in 4 different colors. This gets really weird really quick, and I got turned off almost immediately, other than the fact that I can't think of a reason why I would need a Game Gear in my life. But it will come in 4 different colors. Each of these colors have 4 separate games. So the colors have different games on them. They don't all have the same ones. They will cost roughly $45 a piece. And which is what starts to get a little fucking crazy, with a 4-pack deal, again, this is only in Japan right now, but with a 4-pack deal, that's $260. That comes with a big window magnifier, because this thing is so fucking small, and this is like some true 90s Sega shit where like if you owned the old Sega you would know how many add-ons. It was like the Mega Drive and the fucking like you could stack them like 16 fucking boxes high and it became like a Megazord from fucking Power Rangers by the time it was all said and done. It's like that. So this thing is, these are each, they're about 3 inches across by 1.5 inches tall. And they're a 1.15 inch screen on them. Powered by a USB charge or 2 AAA batteries.
Nope.
So.
That's a big nope from me, dog.
If you search this up, you will see it in all of its glory. But yeah, 4 different colors. The thing that really makes it weird to me is why are they splitting 16 games among 4? Well, obviously they want to make more money, but like, really? Who's gonna buy all 4 of these things?
Collectors, that's about it. And they ain't gonna run out and buy them.
Can you,
right
dude?
Away.
So let me read the list of games here, and then tell me how much you want to play some of them on a 1.15 inch screen. Okay, with or without the magnifier. so first up, Sonic the Hedgehog on a 1.15 inch screen.
No.
Royal Stone. I don't even know what that is.
No.
If I'm gonna be real. Outrun.
No.
Puyo Puyo 2.
No.
Sonic and Tails.
No.
Baku Baku Animal. Gunstar Heroes. Imagine playing Gunstar Heroes on a 1 inch screen.
It's a big nope for me,
How
dog.
can you even do that? Is that
I already got
possible?
it on my Sega Mini. I already got it on my Sega Mini. You better get that magnifier.
Sylvan Tale, and then also we get Nazu Puyo, Shining Force 2, and Shining Force Final Conflict. So apparently one of them is just the Shining Force one. While the Red Edition gets Megami Tensei Gaiden, The Last Bible, Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible Special, and GG Shinobi and Columns. Bro,
This is the worst. This isn't even a mini anymore.
There's
this
a picture
like,
of 2 Japanese hands, and I say that not to be racist, but because they're small, holding all 4 of them with ease. They are so small. I'm going to post this picture in chat.
They're like little Trump hands there holding them all together.
Little fucking Trump hands. This is perfect for Trump. Look at the size of these things.
This is actually one of the worst things I've ever seen. Now, how cool would it have been to get a Sega Game Gear Mini that was actually, a smaller version of the old Sega Game Gear? Because the old Sega Game Gear was this big, fucking bulky. I think I might have one sitting in this closet somewhere. I'm going to grab it.
Okay. Yeah, the original one was massive and bulky and took like how many? 6 AA batteries or some shit, I think. And it
all right.
I think the original took 6 AA batteries and they'd go through them in like an hour.
All right, look at this. All right.
Yeah, people were comparing this to the Game Boy Micro, which I think is even bigger than these.
So
look at the size of that unit.
This is the Sega Game Gear, all right? And yes, it takes 6 AA batteries. Like, the size of this thing, like, these are my hands. I don't have very small hands. This thing is huge. You can make the Sega Game Gear Mini about half the size. Look how thick it is. It's a brick. It's a literal brick, right? You don't even, anyway.
You know what it should be the size of, basically?
Look at the battery add-ons. Look at the size of these.
It could be the size of my cell phone, Jeff.
Yes.
It could be this big.
Yes.
Maybe even a bit smaller, but about this big. Not just the screen, but like the whole console. So the screen would be, maybe a 2-point-something inch screen, twice the size of what those are. And still comfortable to hold, not just for Japanese children that have only been born days prior. And put all the games on it.
Like, look what happens when you get the power packs to put in for the batteries. Look at the size of this thing, dude. My hands almost can't reach the buttons.
On the plus side, In an emergency, you could weaponize that and defend your home.
You definitely could.
You fuck some people up with that thing.
You know, I've got what, 3, 6, 9, 12. I got like 13 games here. And I got to carry it in this fucking thing. You know, you
it's a briefcase.
Make a mini and put out the whole damn collection. It's not like there's a shit ton of Sega Game Gear games. Put the whole damn collection on there if you got the licensing to do it, or put as many of them as you can. Put all those on there. This is crazy, dude.
This is definitely one of those things that I think would only sell in Japan.
I want you to think about this.
And as a collector thing, nobody's going to play the games on these.
Dude, it's 1.1.5.
1.15
It's
inch.
$49. It's $45 a piece.
Yeah. Or the steel, all four plus the big window magnifier for $260 US.
All right. So listen to this. The Nintendo Mini. All right. Okay, I want you to think about this. All right. Let me get my minis here. The Nintendo Mini.
Mm-hmm.
This thing right here. It's got 30 games on it.
Yep.
30. It was $60.
Yep.
US. $60 US. That is $2 a game.
Yep.
$2. The Super Nintendo Mini is $80. All right. It's got 21 games if you count the unreleased Star Fox 2.
But it came with two controllers.
Came with 2 controllers. All right. I think there's 21 games in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 21 games. $80. That's $3.81 a game. You've got the Sega Genesis Mini. Same price, $80. 42 games. $1.90 a game. The PlayStation Classic, which is the biggest ripoff yet, was $99, $100 US. 20 games, $5 a game. This Game Gear shit, you're looking at $40, $45 per. You're looking at about $11 a game.
To play it on a 1.15 inch screen.
To play it on a 1.15 inch screen. What? What?
The answer's no.
And you need batteries to play it?
Well, you can plug in with USB, but yeah, you know, if it's portable, you're going to be using batteries.
What are you going to do? You're going to have this little tiny portable thing that you're going to sit beside a plug? Of course you're going to be going around using it if you're going to. It's a travel thing.
And then you strap the magnifier onto it, and so it makes it even bulkier.
And suck up more battery? Or whatever the fuck it. No, that is awful. No.
It's a bad idea.
It's a horrible idea.
Definitely only something that would sell in Japan just because it's small and cute and collectory. That's the only place you're gonna fucking see any sales for that shit.
That's gonna fail here.
Yeah, that would be a big L for sure. Next up, not an L. Microsoft says that HDR reconstruction and 100,000 hours of retro game playtesting will make the Series X the most backwards compatible console ever. To elaborate on that more, select games, now I don't know the breadth of it, but not a particularly small number, but select games, probably games they get licensing to, much like some of the other licensing that they do for their backwards compatibility, will get complete HDR reconstruction. This is on top of the 4K upscaling that they do on those games already on the Xbox One X, now obviously going to be on the Series X. They're still going to see if you're doing that, dear, you might as well just stand up. Crawling around on the floor trying to stay at a camera, still seeing her.
I see you.
Good try being stealthy, though. It's good effort. Yeah, so on top of the 4K upscaling, the reduced load times from the obviously faster memory and hard drive, and in some cases they're talking about frame doubling. So taking games that originally ran at 30, doubling them to 60, and some apparently 60 doubling to 120. So they're not just making some of these games backwards compatible, they're like fucking real-time overhauling the shit out of it so that if you're sitting at home playing new games and you want to go back and play some of the older games, you're getting upscaled, HDR, higher frame rate, lower load time, fucking shenanigans. And so that's a impressive feat. Even if it's for a limited selection of games, the fact that that's even a possibility, even if they only got 100 of the most played games from the Xbox, the original Xbox and the 360, that by itself would still be a great feature to have, because it's not simply just play the old games. It's play the old games on your brand new TV or hardware with your HDR and everything else. I will be very interested to see how the HDR goes down, because HDR done wrong is atrocious. So reconstructing HDR would be a very interesting project, especially if they're applying it in broad strokes to many backwards compatible games. So,
That's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty friggin' crazy. Oh, apparently, I guess this is in relation to this. Zamlo's got us giving us the hookup here. They had to get like 40 plus companies integrated into Microsoft, and all of those games are getting redone by and paid for by Microsoft. So in similar veins, I don't think they probably acquired the companies, but they would have had to get licensing, like I was mentioning earlier, to be able to do that for a lot of these games. But they're making a real push to make backwards compatibility more than just plugging in your game and having it output a signal, which is really cool. They can talk a big game. We gotta wait and see what happens when it goes out. The biggest irony in all of this would be if, like, they put the original Halo on the list, and then the upscaling and the HDR and everything they have just makes it better than the Master Chief Collection.
It's very possible.
Which honestly, I gotta keep it 100. Master Chief Collection, dumpster fire. And that's their second time to bat on that game.
Rip.
Just fucking swing and a miss all over the place. We don't know. We do know that, I guess to talk about PlayStation, we do know we have talked about that they do have plans to do more than just raw backwards compatibility for the games that they support, but we don't know yet the extent, and perhaps in this next conferencey thing that they're going to do, we'll find out more about that backwards compatibility stuff, the extent to which they will be expanding upon the game's performance for their backwards compatibility list, but for now we don't know. Next up, and in relation to the hilarity that is Star Citizen taking so fucking long to get off the ground, Elite Dangerous, which is another very popular game in the space simulation category, is just put out a trailer. We're not going to watch this. You can watch it yourself, Jeff. It's not very long. Oh, you watched it, so you know. So, put out a trailer that for, what's it called? Odyssey is the expansion, where they are apparently introducing for a selection of planets on foot, combat, mission-based stuff, out of your ship, getting out and doing that stuff. So they're basically, you're going to have the space exploration and combat and trading of Elite Dangerous expanded with now what will likely be a not insignificant number of planets that you will be able to enter atmosphere out of your ship, go on foot. There were guns in hands and shit. It's looking like they're going to have some full-blown content on the ground, which is going to make a couple of people in my community very happy, because I have a couple of diehard Elite Dangerous folks in my community. People have been asking just to be able to fly down to see planetary surfaces, not to land and get out of your ship. Apparently they said, how about we do that, but then we also tack legs onto it and let you walk around.
There you go.
So there you go. We'll see more, and we'll keep tabs on that and see just the scope, because this is just a teaser video for now. That was in-game engine footage, but it was obviously canned that wasn't actual gameplay. So we'll wait and see what comes out in the future with that, and keep you guys posted on that development, because between like No Man's Sky, which is weird to even put that in the same breath, and Elite Dangerous, and EVE Online and shit, there are multiple games in the category of Star Citizen that they're not going to do everything Star Citizen does, but they're doing such a significant percentage of it that as those games continue to mature through the life cycle of Star Citizen, by the time Star Citizen lands,
it's not even going to feel special.
Is it even going to feel special anymore?
No. It's like it's been done long ago. Except that the other companies didn't make $500 million.
Or $5 million a month on a low end.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's pretty exciting news for people who are big into Elite Dangerous. That's all I got for gaming news, Jeff. You know what time it is.
It's patreon.com/legTV time.
That's right.
If you guys aren't already supporting the podcast and you want to go the extra mile, you can hit us up on Patreon for as low as $1, all the way up to as much as you like. And it helps the podcast keep going, helps keep the lights on, keeps us going, keeps us flowing. We've been going now for over 3 years. So big thank you, everybody that's continuing to support. And we get new ones every week. And if you can't support via dollars, you can support by hitting the like button, leaving a review, hitting us up with a comment for that algorithmic purposes, and just tuning in and watching and sharing. If you any of those or all of those is a great way of showing support. Also got to give a shout out to our sponsors. We got NordVPN. If you guys are interested in getting a VPN service, if you are getting data throttled, if you want to watch Netflix in different regions, if you want to stay safe and anonymous, if you want to watch content that is region blocked in your country.
Here's a selling feature. We just not that you probably wouldn't have already been able to guess this, but Google is currently under a lawsuit of $5 billion because they were still collecting data in incognito mode.
Well, there you go.
Want to avoid that?
If you want to avoid that, NordVPN. Make that happen. And you can get 70% off a 3-year subscription by using the promo code OTT. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to take you right to the page. If you're listening to this on audio, it is simply nordvpn.com/OTT. Go on over there, get yourself a subscription, get yourself a VPN service. You can use up to 6 simultaneous devices. It's super easy. It's literally one click of a button. You can log in anywhere on any device at any time. Their servers are fast. You can stream on it. You can game on it. You can game and stream on it. Best in the business, and they support the podcast. So if you want to continue to see them support us, hey, when you're in the market for a VPN, think of NordVPN and go ahead and grab that subscription. Secondly, Elgato. If you guys don't already know about the Stream Deck, go and pick one up. You can get one in mini, regular size, and XL. Link is in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this, you can just head on over to their website over in Elgato and check out the products. You've got stuff from Stream Decks, green screens, capture cards. So new line of consoles are coming out. You're going to need to capture that in all of its glory. They do have 4K HDR capture cards. Definitely go check them out. Extremely well priced for what you get as well. In fact, I do believe at one point, I don't know if this is still it because I don't do enough research. I mean, Adam would be the one to tell me. But for the 4K HDR 60 frames, it is the cheapest card that you can buy, that money can buy right now. And they can do all of the stuff. Like I have my capture card in my computer. I can just link up my PS3. I can link up my PS4, my Xbox One. You can capture your footage. The new line of consoles are coming out, or you can capture your old consoles. I use it as well for my retro gaming. And they've got tons of different products. They got key lights, whether you're a streamer or you're on that TikTok hype or whatever other hype you're using, you can get yourself some key lights as well. They have different types of lights that you can do all on your key lighting. So if you want white light, yellow light, bright, you can dim it down. You can use the app and control it from there. Lots to choose from from Elgato, but my favorite product by far is the Stream Deck, which is a big macro key hub, essentially, that you can use while gaming. You can use it to hook up programs, to open up your Spotify, to open up your favorite podcast streams. It's sleek. It works. It's really, really a great product. So definitely go check them out. And that's pretty much it.
Because,
Elgato.
hey, you
gotta get one if you don't already.
Don't forget. Gotta
Boom,
get the
there it is.
tagline
So
in
shout
there.
out to our sponsors. I appreciate it. And go support them because they support us.
That's right.
And that's time for movies and TV.
First up, just a fun little fun facty whack from the John Wick series. Apparently, John Wick was originally supposed to be titled Scorn. Not to be confused with the game that we watched a couple weeks ago, where there was the weird mechanical dripping penis. But yes, it was originally titled Scorn, and apparently the reason why it changed from Scorn is because Keanu kept fucking it up and calling it John Wick everywhere he went. And so the guys said, all right, well, if he's just going to keep calling it John Wick, we're calling the movie John Wick.
Good life choice.
Great. Honestly, anything Keanu Reeves says, you should probably just do it. Because I gotta keep it real. Scorn is a terrible fucking title for that movie.
And it also doesn't have a dripping penis. So
No, that would have been super awkward.
John Wick, though, fire. And it's right to the point. It's John Wick.
Fire. I mean, the entire series is about John Wick. The fuck were they thinking calling it Scorn? What kind of hipster-ass fucking, like, deep introspective name is that?
The only other name I could think of that they could call it is Wicked or something. You know? Mr. Wick. Wicked something. I don't know. But John Wick just works.
It does. I like it. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is officially happening, and by that I mean the movie. We knew that there was a real good chance of that happening, but now it's been confirmed.
Made a ton of money. Yep.
Jeff Fowler is going to return to direct, and Pat Casey and Josh Miller are returning to write, so you're going to get basically the same crew, and I suspect they're going to lock up many of the same actors to continue on. But that movie made way more money than it probably had any right to. Although, to be honest, having seen it, it's actually a pretty good movie. So
I watched half of it, fell asleep, and then just never watched it again. I'm not huge on animated films. I'm just not.
Yeah, neither am I.
And the comedy was
exactly
campy.
What I would have expected for a Sonic movie because it's for kids.
Yeah.
They're pitching humor to kids.
Yeah. But it worked, so good on them.
Yeah, and we're gonna get
and Jim Carrey, is getting a sequel to something, so
damn
good for him too.
Other than that, Carol fucking Baskins gained control of the Tiger King Zoo thanks to a court ruling, and you better believe that the Tiger King himself is sitting in that jail cell fucking seething right now over the fact that his most bitter rival and enemy has now acquired his zoo.
Damn.
Time for another documentary.
Yep. Oh, she's got cameras following her now.
Oh.
She's going to make a fuck ton of money.
100%. 100%.
That's going to be the busiest fucking zoo of all time.
Honest to God, the best possible outcome for this is a massive M. Night Shyamalan plot twist where Joe gets out and it's found that Carol did do some dirty shit and she gets swapped into jail and then Joe takes over his fucking zoo again.
That's the Tiger King.
That would be the greatest M. Night Shyamalan plot twist of all time. And I gotta be honest, I actually think that's probably the reality of the situation. Just if I gotta be honest. Next up, the saga of AMC continues as it says that it has substantial doubt, that's the quoted part, substantial doubt that it will be able to stay in business after the closings around the world during the Space Godzilla pandemic. And they said this is, to put a point on that, they said this is especially the case because even if places were to be allowed to open up at government level, movie studios holding their movies back from release is unlikely to make the situation a heck of a lot better for them. And so that's where they're at right now.
Yeah, they'll probably go under, but somebody will bail them out and buy them out. and that somebody is probably going to be Amazon. Prepare your
Mm.
buttholes.
Buckle up. The plot
But yeah,
thickens.
they're going to get bought out without a doubt. Somebody's going to come in and buy them up, and Amazon is probably going to be it,
Wouldn't be
which would be pretty
surprising.
crazy. Be nuts.
And that's all I've got for movies and TV.
There hasn't. I mean, it's
This is dead.
space age time, right? It's
Yeah.
like there ain't nothing. Apparently, Tenet is still going to be coming out in July, so there's that.
Okay.
That's Christopher Nolan's new movie, which has Robert Pattinson and Denzel's son. It looks fine. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, so
It's gonna be dope.
it's gonna be dope. So they're still planning on coming out in July. Other than that, movie related stuff, I'm not hearing nothing.
Dead. You know what
Dead
that
street.
means? In
Tech
record
support.
time of 10 minutes, we're moving on to tech support. Tech support, ladies and gentlemen, patreon.com/lagtv each and every week for $10 and higher on Patreon. We post up a topic on the page that's called tech support. It's week 155, for example, this week. And you are, as a member, $10 and higher, able to ask some questions on that post each and every week. And then here on Tech Support on the podcast, we answer as many of those bad boys as we can. First up, what do we got here? Seth is saying, no question, just stay safe, everyone, and stand up for what's right.
Hell yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Caleb asks, other than a mold of your own genitalia, what is the best surprise present for a long-distance significant other?
For a long distance.
Yeah, so other than mold of your own penis, what is the best possible surprise present for a long-distance significant other?
You showing up.
There you go.
You in person.
That was my answer, you fucking asshole. All right. Because the only thing better than a mold is the real thing.
The real thing. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Alexa says 2020 might be the worst year in living memory. How could it get any worse? Don't give it any ideas. Don't speak that evil. Don't. What was it from the Green Mile? Don't you put that evil on me. Don't.
I can think of one thing, but I won't even say it because I don't even want to put it out there in the universe.
Trump getting reelected?
Yep. Yeah.
Don't do it, please, God. Just for fuck God, please. The other thing I made the joke of the other day, I don't even know if it was on the podcast or something else. I think it was on the podcast. Where it said the only thing that can make 2020 worse is Yellowstone finally erupts.
Yeah.
And then the Yellowstone solves all of our problems for us by killing us all. There you go. And then the coincidence was not long after that there was news that there were earthquakes around Yellowstone 5 days after I said that. I was like, well, fucking, I wasn't serious. Come on now. Will Hawkins asks, did you ever mix fountain drinks together like Dr. Pepper with Sprite with orange drink? And did you have a favorite combo?
I never really did. I used to, when I was younger, like in my teenage years, I used to mix I think it was Mellow Yellow and it was like a fruit. I don't think it was Fruitopia, but it was a different type of fruit punch. And I used to mix those two together. And I used to like that. Other than that, I'm just a one type god.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a really short period of time where it was popular to do that, right? Especially Subway. It's like the one place I can think of where I would have actively done it, where they had the dispensers. And it was popular for a time to do some mixings. And I think the popular thing was, Sprite was always the base of everything because it was like a neutral citrus flavor. And then you just tack whatever the fuck else onto that. But it was usually other fruit-related stuff. So there's Fruitopia-related things, fruit juices and whatnot. Which, honestly, that trend is probably why you get these mix stations that we have now.
I mean, I do mix now, but I only add vanilla to it. So like I'll add vanilla to Coke, or I'll add vanilla to Sprite, or vanilla to whatever, Pepsi or whatever. I like that, but I don't like mixing two different types of pop.
No, two different types of pop. I never did that. Like I wasn't like I knew people that mixed like Coke and root beer.
Ugh.
Or Coke and Sprite, but never. And I had Coke and Sprite. Coke and Sprite's not bad because again, it's just citrus being added to whatever you're having. Like citrus goes with so much shit that it there's not very many flavors that it goes awry with. But yeah, it's been a thing for a while. But now we have those mixing stations. It's like the one in Subway now.
Yep.
You literally choose, what combo you want.
And boom,
Bob's your uncle. Next, I'm looking at my notes over there on the screen like that's where I was going to get the next question. This is pointed directly at you, sir. Dudeson asks, Mr. Black, from the stories that you've told on the podcast, it doesn't seem like you were a long time ago. You weren't much of the relationship type of dude, and yet, obviously you're now with Kayla for a long time, previous to marriage, etc., etc. What about her made you change your mindset when it came to relationship goals from just wanting to smash and actually getting married and eventually having kids?
Well, believe it or not, I always been a relationship guy. So my ex. Like my high school sweetheart, I dated her 4 years. Yeah. So from basically age 15 to 19, the last year was like off and on. I was with her, and I had about a 1 year period of being single, and that was the year that I just fucked around with whoever and did whatever. So, but I was also seeing a girl for about almost that whole year, but I was seeing other women as well, but I was like more exclusive with her. Like we spent a lot of time together, and she knew what I was doing. I knew what she was doing. We just kind of had that. We weren't necessarily like quote unquote fuck buddies, because that's what Kayla and I were, my wife, when we first met. The other girl, I was more of a relationship type thing, but we weren't exclusive. Like we just spent a lot of time together. We enjoyed each other's company, but I had just gotten out of a relationship for 4 years. I didn't want to get into it. She knew that, and she was older. She's like 8 years older than me, so she didn't really want to, deal with a young guy that just, we just agreed to be in a relationship, but not in one.
It's called an open relationship, basically.
Open relationship. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. It was, we weren't like, it was open. Although towards the end, she started getting jealous of when I was spending time with like Kayla or somebody else or whatever.
Inevitably happens in open relationships. Yeah.
We started getting closer and closer, and it was to the point. So then I had to make a decision that, hey, did I want to continue here with her, the older girl, or start a relationship with Kayla? Because Kayla was starting to kind of get serious too, because we started spending more time with each other and started liking each other. It was more than just sex or whatever. So I had to literally make a choice. And I think I've said this before, but I was supposed to go on a trip. I actually was supposed to go on a trip with the older girl. She wasn't able to go. I ended up asking Kayla if she wanted to go, and Kayla wanted to go. So we went on that trip, and then that's when Kayla and I got like really close. And then as soon as I came home, that was it. I said, I'm done. So I never saw the other girl again, or any other girls, and was just with Kayla. And I think the reason is, as well, is the other girl was 8 years older than me. So she was in her mid to late 20s, and I was like 20 years old, 20, 21. And she's going to want kids, in the next few years. And it was just like, we had her fun. She's a great person. She was fun to be around, and she was very career oriented. Like she had a great job. She made good money. You know, I used to call her mama. She used to be like my sugar mama. She used to just buy me. I was young and broke, but like she had a good career. And so, you know, but it wasn't about that. I was just in a different place, and decided that I was going to give Kayla my full undivided attention. Whether that was going to work out or not, I had no idea. We'd be married and have a kid and go through all this together. But that was it. That was pretty much it. We went on a trip, spent 7 days together alone, no other girls around, no other influences. And I said, yeah, I'm ready to settle down. So I was only single for at most a year and a half in my adult life. So Kayla and I have been together for like 11 or 12 years now. So, and we've been married for like 6. So, and yeah, we were engaged for 4 years. So, yeah, believe it or not, I was always a relationship guy. I just had a really crazy year and a half of being single, and I had some fun. And I didn't even have as much fun as some of my other guy friends. Like, you know, I was still pretty. I had like a really crazy year, a 12-month period where people just knew, like, Jeff's got to get it out of his system, and I did, and I've been with my wife ever since. So there it is.
There you go. Loose Caboose asks, been thinking that given the current events, I might try travel nursing outside of the U.S. I've heard New Zealand will pay for room and board if you go for a year. While I understand both of your jobs are online, if you could, hypothetically had to, move anywhere for a year and just try something different while maintaining job stability, where would you go? And they want like one domestic and one foreign. So one, I guess, you know, somewhere in Canada, and then one foreign.
I would go for a whole year. In Canada, I would pick Montreal. Just because I love the city. It's busy, it's fun. I take the opportunity to like learn as much French as I could too. And foreign wise, like out of North America, I'd probably do. I would probably do England, just because I feel like it'd be a totally different experience. There's so much there, and it still would kind of feel domesticated. Like I don't want to go to like Singapore, or I don't think I could do Japan for a whole year. It'd be like such a culture shock. I think that like going to England would be, not only there'd be a lot of fun things to do and so much to see, and it's near so much as well. You could take like a train or a small flight and go see so many different places that I think it would fill up a year and travel and experience many different things while still kind of feeling like I'm in a place that's familiar. I'd probably go there.
Domestic. Domestic, I feel like I just want to experience, like I'm on one coast. I feel like I just experienced the other coast, so I'd go to Vancouver somewhere. Or BC, not just Vancouver specifically, but somewhere in BC. And experience the other coast, and see what that's like. And then, for foreign, I'm opposite of you. I would want culture shock. If I was going to go somewhere for a year but still have job stability and all that shit, not to worry about anything like that, I would kind of want culture shock, because then it's like, now I'm really experiencing something fucking different. I wouldn't want to have like basically the same thing. So I wouldn't be opposed to Singapore, Thailand, Japan, Korea, in, you know, some major city centers. It would, that would be probably on my list, because you get to experience something that's totally different from the cultural perspective. And I think the craziest part about a lot of those places is just how much cheaper food is.
Yeah.
Like eating out here is like a fucking paycheck. You go out there and it's like people may like working part-time jobs or eating out 4 times a week, and it's not putting a massive dent in their fucking income, because it's just, there's so much competition that the price drives the prices way down, and the quality has to also go up, because again, so much competition. So
Yeah.
yeah, like it would likely be it would likely be between Korea and Japan, just because I actually have like friends or people who are in those places as well. But yeah, I would want the culture shock, because I would want, if I was going to go there and if there was no stability, then yeah, the way harder decision. Obviously, then it's like, okay, fuck, I don't know the language. That's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah.
But with job security, fuck it. Give me all the shock. Tase me.
Theoretically, we could move to Japan for a year and it wouldn't really affect us, because we could work the same way that we do.
It would be the cost of moving would be the thing that would fuck you, right? It'd be like you'd have to bring a fair amount of gear with you to make it work.
I just rebuy it. I just rebuy my computer out there. You spend 10 G's. You'd have everything you need.
Yeah.
Your whole business is up and running. You just need good internet, which you're not going to have a problem in Japan. So, I agree with you. If it was 3 months, I'd have a different answer. If it was 3 months, I'd go to Japan. Done.
Yeah.
But a whole year? Oh my God. I don't know. I'd probably die of mercury from the amount of sushi I'd be eating in Japan for a year. By month 8 or 9, I'd be a literal walking mercury.
I'd be living on sushi and fucking ramen and soba noodle and fish and veggie and just everything.
Oh, be delicious.
I'd be there for it.
It'd be delicious.
Let's see. Kimmets says 2020 thus far has been a year to learn a lot from. For example, lingering racism, pandemic response, fire in Australia, etc. Will we truly learn anything and make any changes? Yes, in my opinion, we will. It's just that, like with almost any change, it is rare. Historically, it's rare.
I need the bathroom, so you just keep
yeah.
Thing. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
Yeah. So, like most changes anyway, especially major cultural ones or even political ones, it takes multiple years, like this year, for example, or multiple of these events to get the complete change that most people would like to see. It's rare to get a complete version of the change you want to see. Like what's happening in the US right now is not going to result in the complete abolition of police violence and discrimination and brutality. It's just not going to happen. But it will result in a step in that direction. And that's because anything, like I said, culturally or politically, often takes generational time to get from point A to point B, because too much of a change, and even if it seems like something that should be universally accepted, the reality is it's not always going to be that way, and it results in lingering times to make things actually take change. But yeah, I would say it's definitely going to result in change. You'd think racism is one of those things where it goes where after major events have happened, people there's some reform, and then people think that we've mostly tackled it, and then day-to-day life continues, and unless you are in the midst of that continuing racism, no matter the volume of, or the scope of, or the severity of, it's harder to see. And so and it gets even harder as time goes on, and we do make progress. For the people who are separated from it, it gets even harder and harder to see. So that's a bit of a hurdle to try and get over in regards to that. For something like the fires in Australia and whatnot, that's more of a political thing, where it's really just them spending the right budgetary, making the right budgetary decisions and having steps in place to prevent that in the future, or and be more prepared for that kind of stuff, as it seems to be like it's going to be a more a common thing. And when it's something like that that tends to happen a little faster. I'm sure that will definitely result in some major changes in Australia. Because these fires were just ravenous. What else was here? And then the pandemic response. I mean, the pandemic response is definitely going to result in changes. The pandemic response has varied wildly, and it has exposed a lot in government weaknesses in multiple countries around the world and governmental strengths. So you will see as the world works together to come up with a solution to this and have best practices shared amongst countries as to how to best try to operate during the pandemic itself. You are going to see adoption of best practices in most places, and kind of like by osmosis, and in the future, it should lead to a better response. The thing in the States that everyone knows about now is that the previous administration left literally a playbook that was far more equipped than what was used by the current administration. It might not have been a complete guide, but it was certainly more well suited than what was enacted. And so it's not like that was an example of sometimes there might already be things in place, but depending on who's pressing the button to make that thing go forward, it still might not happen, right? So, but this is a year that is definitely going to result in a lot of change in a lot of places, but the amount of change in terms of the completeness of what people would want to see happen will vary wildly based on country and the situation at hand. But yeah, that's it. So to sum it up, Jeff, for you, it was basically I was saying, yes, it will result in change, but a lot of things, especially stuff like racism or political change, takes generational time to complete. That even something as severe as what we're seeing now in the States is not going to result in the complete abolishment of police brutality and discrimination. It will result in a step in that direction, but it's not like we're going to skip straight to the finish line and suddenly everything's going to be fine on the other side.
I agree.
Aaron Carter is back. AC in the house said a moment of silence for George Floyd and all other victims of racism. Absolutely. Any advice on what we as regular individuals can do to make an impact on getting rid? You knew this was going to come this week. And getting rid of systemic racism.
Don't be a prick. That's it.
Well, no, I think he means for people who aren't already there, like what you can do to make an impact on getting rid of systemic racism. The only thing I'll take it for the team. I know you don't want to talk about it. I'll take one for the team on this one. So the thing about anything systemic, which immediately invokes, political systems and things of that nature, or corporate, stuff. The reality is that the backing of that is also cultural, right? And that comes from a whole bunch of different shit, and that's a very difficult thing to change. The only saving grace in that regard is that you can vote people out. The challenge that happens in a lot of places, not just the US, but in a lot of other countries, is that there are a lot of positions in government that go up for vote that people don't even know they can vote for. They don't even know it exists. They just assume that they can only vote for, like in Canada, it's like you can vote for vote for the provincial and vote for the federal, and then that's the fucking show. And they don't know that there's other steps. Or in the States, it's very similar. Seats that are up for vote in many places for many different branches of government. And it's because partially it's not advertised. And it's not advertised because the people that have those jobs, if nobody's out there really voting hard, they get to sit on them for a really fucking long time. And that's how you end up with situations where perhaps less than ideal policy is in place for extraordinary periods of time. So, the only way that the best, it's not the only way, but the best way, if you're really interested in trying to help, that the racist part is, that's a cultural thing, and that's gonna, all you can do with that is lead by example, full stop, and make people accountable when you can. So if you have friends or family or whatever, hold them accountable to some form of standard and lead by example. That's all you can do. And unfortunately, the more violent that people become in those situations, the more reason that the other side will just look at it and ignore it, because then they go, look, you're the monster that we said you are. And so you just lead by example, and that's it. But from a political standpoint, to help end systemic issues of racism and otherwise, all you can do is become as educated as you can on your political system within your country, and vote for as many levels of government as you have the ability to within your situation, and do your research on people, and do your due diligence, and make the best educated decision you can to put people, or help put people in place that will help reduce the systemic issues at hand. And that's really all you can do. If not, then stuff can continue to perpetuate, and it can take longer than it needs to at that point in time. And that's my TED Talk. There you go. Sorry. Oh, Adrian asked. Sorry if this has been asked and answered before, but what camera setups do you guys use? We're just both using C920s or C922, one or the other, depending. I've got both. One's being shown to Jeff. One's being shown to you guys. It's the only webcam anyone should buy. Any other webcam, you're wasting your time and money on it. Just don't hate me if you hate the drivers, because Logitech hasn't updated them in a way that would be useful in fucking decades. But you don't need a 4K webcam. If you're live streaming, your webcam, even if it's as big as it is here, this square that I'm in here, this glass case of emotion that I'm in right now, this is less than 1080p. The webcam outputs 1080p. Nobody needs to see your ass moving at 60 FPS, even if it has the capability, because they're watching the fucking game. And if you are doing a talk show or something, they still don't need to see you at 60 FPS. So you get a good high-resolution camera that's reasonable and relatively low light, but as long as you have decent lighting in the room, this is low light in here right now, and this looks perfectly fucking fine for our purposes. And if you want, Elgato got you hooked up with that light, the key light, you can get one. But just grab a fucking webcam. Don't be that guy that goes out and they're just starting streaming, and they're only using a webcam that's like fucking 180 by 90 pixels on screen, and they have a fucking $5,000 mirrorless Sony camera with a $3,000 fucking pancake 50mm lens on it to get crazy creamy bokeh and everything, so they look like they're in the middle of a fucking HD porn shoot every time they go to full screen on the webcam. No. Just a fucking godforsaken C920. That's it. That's all Jeff's using.
That's all I'm using. That's it. It's the dream.
Cryptic Cyanide says, if HBO's Chernobyl was a series with a new disaster every season, what event would you like to see covered other than Chernobyl? I'm trying to think of like other crazy events like Chernobyl that are so shrouded in fucking mystery that I'd want to see a series on it.
Space AIDS.
Just wait a while.
No, we're gonna get some.
We already know there's a movie coming,
or next year.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Yeah. That's tough. I'm sure there are, but it'd be one of those things where somebody would have to tell me the thing, and I'd go, "Fuck yes, I would like to know more about that. Make an HBO fucking series on it." But I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Super Kami Guru asks, what game has the best soundtrack, Jeff?
Best soundtrack? Man, I'm gonna say Halo.
It's not a bad choice.
I'm just gonna say the Halo theme song, man. It's pretty fucking fire.
Uh, Morrowind, even though there's only about 3 songs. But I think that it speaks volumes that Morrowind's main theme was used as retooled for the main themes for the next 2 fucking installments of Elder Scrolls, and I suspect the next one will probably also still use the underlying theme of Morrowind, but the next one is Jet Set Radio Future. I mean, just the whole fucking, the music. No, I can't think of a game that's ever had a soundtrack that's both good on its own, but matched a game better than Jet Set Radio. You know, in Halo, it was like you bring in like Marty O'Donnell, I think it was whoever did it. I can't think of who did it. No, Marty O'Donnell, somebody. Anyway. And it's like orchestral, like it's like a movie soundtrack, right? Whereas Jet Set Radio was more like the soundtrack. The soundtrack was done with like a bajillion different genres and takes, and it all matched the game perfectly. So was it Marty? Yeah. Okay. So that's why I would say,
or it's Final Fantasy VII. I mean,
there you go.
The music in Final Fantasy VII is incredible.
8910 asks, what movie or what's a movie that you never get tired of watching? And I'm going to say for you, other than the Goofy movie, which you have watched once a day daily for the last 4 months, do you have any others
that I never get tired of watching?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what movie I would that I kind of watch. I mean, Home Alone 2.
Okay.
I never get tired of that. Ever.
Shanghai Noon. As well as what's Jackie's other one that they're making a new movie of here? I can
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. So Rush Hour, Shanghai Noon, Gone in 60 Seconds are probably the 3 that I can watch over and over again, and it never bothers me. Oh, also I can also watch Good Will Hunting pretty much every day of my life, and I will never get tired of that movie. But that's a heavy movie, so you gotta be in the right headspace. I don't get tired of watching it, but, you know, shit gets heavy at times. Almost down to her here. Let's see. Zen, I'm gonna fuck this name up. I'm just gonna call you Zen. Zen asks, which game has the most interesting boss fights?
Boshi.
That's definitely. They definitely don't lack variety, for sure. Yeah. Man, Dark Souls or Dark Souls 3. One of those two.
Yeah. Dark Souls 3 was had some good boss fights.
Yeah. Dark Souls 3 only had 1 or 2 bosses that were like super standouts to me. Dark Souls 1 had quite a number, but those fucking yeah. Yeah, for sure. And another good one, yeah, Hallie's got a good one there. Good one there. Shadow of the Colossus is another good choice for that. The whole game is boss fights.
Yeah, I will say Shadow of the Colossus. It starts to get a little repetitive. Like there's bosses, quite a few bosses that sort of feel the same, but they're different. But I do agree. I mean, I will say in terms of the first like 2-3 bosses you fight in Shadow of Colossus, it's a massive wow factor. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Especially that first one, because you get to the top of the hill, you've only just learned how to fucking climb something. You take 3 steps forward, this dude walks around the corner, and he's so big that he's out of the frame.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, fuck. And yeah, definitely a wow moment. And the last one? Mr. Black. I'm just going to refresh and make sure that's the case. It looks like it is. Yep. Oh, no, we might have one other. It depends on how fast we answer this one. Who is the biggest famous person that you were shocked to discover knew who you were? Tasteless and Artosis. Within the community. Outside of that, what's his name from, Sean? No, not...
Sean Ashmore?
Sean Ashmore, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Ashmore. Yeah, I'd probably go with Sean Ashmore.
Yeah, it's probably it's the one that the most people would know who the fuck that is, anyway.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head.
I mean,
it's not like I know the guy personally. It's just that
well, he's been a fan of Leg TV for a while. He used to watch a lot of When Cheese Fails and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one though for me was when we got to see Tasteless and Artosis, because at that point in our career, Tasteless and Artosis were basically, especially within the StarCraft community, they were like
Asa Butterfield also.
Oh, that's true. He's
watched quite a bit, and I've talked to him a few times via Twitter. He's the star of Sex Education.
He's a cool dude.
Ender's Game. He loves video games and shit too. So
he's big in the fighting game community.
Times, yeah.
Shout outs to Sex Education, by the way, for being a fire show.
It's a good show.
Last one. Forlorn asks, it's over 9,000! What is something you experienced, be in a game, a show, or real life, that started off like it seemed important, but eventually just became entirely pointless? Much like Goku's power level being over 9,000 becoming completely pointless because he got... We still haven't found Goku's peak, boys.
We still haven't.
He's still going up. So what's something that you discovered either in a show or a game or real life that started off seeming like it was important, but then turned out to be entirely pointless?
Jeez, I don't even know how to answer that.
Something you discovered.
I don't know.
Important.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Oh, bro. Ow. Ouch.
I mean,
but true. But ouch. Fuck.
The TV show Lost. That show is basically. That shit was crazy. That was. By the end of it, you're like, why?
It was all for nothing. Yeah, I agree. Like almost anything that I have, like any skill set or anything, like Hoppy was saying, any skill set that you reach, it seems so important and everything. Like as you're climbing to attain that skill set, and then once you get it and you're using it in practice, you're like, well, this isn't nearly as monumental as I thought it was. Yeah, no, that's hard. The over 9,000 thing is very fucking.
That's a good one.
That's very accurate, for sure. You know, it seemed at the time that it was going to be super important. Oh, Finn. I think Finn is an even bigger one than fucking Luke. To be honest with you, the first movie, Finn seemed like he was going to be some sort of pivotal, major fucking character that was inevitably going to become some sort of like non-force sensitive or force sensitive off-brand of a Jedi, and then he turned into somebody that you could have almost entirely removed from the story and have no impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Along with Rose. But
Along
Finn way more than Rose, though. Finn was literally a pivotal in the first fucking... We thought he was going places.
Nah, he peaked at 7. He peaked at 7, and then it was the downfall.
Yeah, and it's gone. Yeah. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it.
We managed to string together an almost 2-hour podcast from another thin week of content. Boom.
Boom.
Hopefully, it gave you guys just a small break from the chaos. And if you're about to dip your toes back into that chaos, as many people should, then good luck. Be safe. And for God's sake, be smart about it. We'll see you guys next week for another Technical Alpha podcast. I almost got through the rest of the podcast speaking English, but now here I am at the end. I need food, I think.
I do too. I'm getting pretty hungry.
I think that's where I'm at right now. So
I can smell barbecue. So
yeah, dude, we're barbecuing here too. I got potato salad, burgers, and hot dogs upstairs right now.
Oh, I got steaks, but I'll take that.
Oh,
too.
shit. Oh, I'd fucks with a steak right now,
Steaks
too.
and corn on the cob.
Oh, fuck, that's the other combo.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Well, let's go get our food on. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for stopping by so much. We really appreciate it, guys. And once again, stay safe out there. Take care of each other. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.